everybody, and welcome back to Skyblock Kingdoms. In the last episode, if you missed it, we worked on installing 2 new giant flower farms here on the Birch Kingdom, and we didn't finish up. Unfortunately, there isn't a giant bone meal farm floating off in the void somewhere, and it doesn't rain bone meal on the server. So in order to actually make this farm work, we have to install some kind of bone meal farm today. Because at the moment, if I want to farm flowers, in order to get these, I have to run all the way over to the Birch Kingdom, grab bone meal from the mob farm, and bring it back. So in today's episode, I really want to work on installing a bone meal farm just somewhere nearby so that I can be AFK here, AFKing the flower farm, and AFKing bones, which are also probably going to drop gunpowder and a lot of other things. But first, we have one quick thing over at the Birch Kingdom. Let me run back home. So unfortunately, Vintage and I have a problem. The beloved iron farm that I built here in episode 2 is in the way. So now we gotta move it. We gotta move it by the flower farm. So I'm gonna take some dimensions. I'm going to build a new platform, and we're gonna build it a blackstone, and then we're gonna move the mobs. Wish me luck, please. And a couple live streams later, the iron farm has officially moved and has received an upgrade. Not only has it seen a color palette overhaul, but also if I drop down here, I've installed an automatic block crafter. So it's automatically taking iron and turning it into iron blocks, which means that our storage system is 9 times more efficient than it used to be. Now, why do we move the iron farm? Well, if we look over at the island, you can see I still have the remnants of the old one over there. Look at how close that is to that island. It's kind of encroaching on its airspace. So the plan is get rid of that, build some more pretty stuff along the way, and Viking can put all of his farms in the back of the base because Vintage thinks farms are ugly. Vintage hates me. Anyway, so now that I've successfully moved the iron farm, we have to actually set out on building the mob farm. A really funny little side effect of being in Skyblock, if you didn't know, mob farms are impacted by the number of blocks in the world. So if you build a mob farm in a regular Minecraft world, you have all of the blocks underneath of the mob farm that the game is checking to see if it can spawn a mob. But when you're playing in a void world, there's no blocks to check. So what that means is, if I go out in this direction, probably if I had to guess somewhere right back over here, or maybe in between here, and build a mob farm, that mob farm is going to be super, super fast. And because I want bone meal, I have 2 options: build a mob farm or build a moss farm. And let's just say I have a rough history with moss farms. They never work. So we're going to build a mob farm that's going to provide bone meal for the flower farms, as well as gunpowder for the eventual rocket shop and usage, because I want rockets. I want elytra. We're so close to the end fight. Not quite yet, but we're getting close. And I want to be able to fly with elytra, because oh my gosh, Skyblock and elytra are a match made in heaven. But I gotta check with Vintage real fast and see if I can change that iron to mob farm. Vintage!
Yes?
I have a question for you. If you'd
have a
like to
question
follow
for
me
me?
this way.
Yeah, that works. I am totally down to do that. So what is the question today?
I am building a mob farm for us so we can get access to unlimited bone meal and gunpowder. And I want your opinion on where to put it, because this is your base too. And also, you don't like the look of mob farms.
I do not know. I want to build around it. So I appreciate you asking me. That is fantastic.
I understand. No,
yeah,
so,
but that's okay.
So I built the iron farm, as you are aware. The iron farm is done.
I know. It's beautiful. I love it.
So now the question is where to put the mob farm. There's a couple thoughts here. Thought number 1, mob farms are tall, so it's going to be like a tall tower. It could go in between the iron farm and the flower farm, like kind of where you put that sign, but a little bit farther back. It could go back where that corner is, or it could go on the other side of the flower farm.
Would it be easier for you to have the mob farm here for what you're doing, or over there for what you're doing?
It's not really difference. Not really a difference.
Not really. Okay. Honestly, I like the idea of putting it back here, because then we can kind of like separate the eventual plan on how to cover this up based off of
Do you want
how
it
we're doing things.
Back in that corner where that corner is at?
I kind of like the idea of it being in between.
Like
these, like not as far as back as the corner.
Like maybe like 10, like right here or like 10 blocks that way?
That would be perfect.
Okay, I'll do that. Also, do you
Sick.
want it so that the mob farm, like bottom of it is in line with the iron farm, the flower farm, higher or lower? Basically, do you want the tower to tower above everything, or do you want the tower to be at the same level as everything else?
I think, honestly, if you can have the tower, like have this be about actually the halfway point.
Okay,
If that
yeah,
makes
I can
any
do that.
sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect
like
sense.
this. Yeah, that would be perfect because then we can go higher or lower and it'd be fine because we already have to go low enough to cover that and high enough to cover this. So.
Sweet. Okay, cool. I'll do
Yep.
that. Well, that's all I needed you
Hooray.
for. You can leave now.
Hooray! I'm gonna go back to working on my beautiful fishing at my beautiful fishing island. I'll see you later.
Okay, I'm gonna stand here and build ugly farms.
You got this.
Bye.
You're doing great, sweetie. Bye.
All right, well, I talked to Vintage. We got permission. It's time to build a mob farm. So let's go get some supplies and let's get started. Well, I have laid out the outline of the size of this thing, sort of, kind of. The roof will be double this size, but that's besides the point. Now that I've got it laid out, I know it's gonna fit. Time to build the rest of it. The farm is done. Look at all them mobs flying down. Let's go, dude. And all the items come flowing up. And a big part, bone meal. I do have an off switch though, so I can flip this off switch and it'll back up and then it'll start filling up this chest instead. But I now have to take this bone meal and distribute it to all of these dispensers. And the best way I can think to do that is with a minecart system. So let me think about that for a little bit. Well, to start out with, I should probably put out some kind of hopper chain like so, but do it on all of them, not just these 4, which means I need way more hoppers. And like so. And now I've got all the hoppers in place, I need to install the rail lines. So I need these and rails. And now that I've split the bone meal output into 2 separate chests, if we look for the chest that has more bone meal in it, this chest will be the chest that fuels the larger farm, and this chest will be the chest that fuels the smaller farm. So now I just got to hook up a rail line and go from there. And now that it's all powered up, just a simple test to make sure that they go and come back, which they come back at almost exactly the same time. Wait a minute. 1 second. Let me fix that. And fixed. Perfect. Sweet. And now that I have the system set up, I need to set up the redstone here to make sure that these fill up. And once these fill up with any kind of bone meal, I want them to send off and go back and forth. I might have to build a different kind of loop system, but for now, let's test it with this. I just had a really cool idea because I remember that sticky pistons, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, sticky pistons can move minecart rails. So what if we had a minecart rail, like right next to a block, and we swapped it out. So we detect if there's bone meal inside the minecart, and if there is, it puts a solid block here instead of a minecart rail and sends the minecart back to keep on loading. I'm gonna try to make this work. Let's see if I can redstone on the fly. Alrighty, I've got my redstone. Basically, we wanna make something that looks like this, right? And then we wanna have, let's see if I do this with this, and then a redstone line like this. Huh. Oh. Huh. Okay, now wait a second. Now I'm just confused. Now if I do this, and I do this, look at that! I figured it out! Hey! Okay, so basically, when I pull this lever, it activates this redstone torch, which activates this piston and deactivates this piston. But when I activate this lever, if I don't have this here, what happens is this guy's like, I can power, but I haven't been updated, and the redstone signal coming from the observer updates it. Flawless! Now we just gotta build it over there and hope I don't mess up. and then I gotta build it twice. Okay, let's get to work. Oh my God, I designed something that actually works. Check this out. If I put this here and put some iron in it, it's gonna go, and it's gonna come right back. Yes! Oh, that's sick! And if I launch an empty one, it's just gonna go right by. Yes! Oh, that's awesome! Okay, now I just have to build another one of these over there somewhere. Sweet! And just like that, I now have 2 of them! Yes! Oh, this is perfect! Okay, sick. Let's try this out. Of course, now that I'm saying that, I actually have to build the bone meal loader, so I gotta build 2 of those. Let's do that first. All right, moment of truth. I should have done this correctly so that when this eventually fills up with bone meal, it will launch. Yes! Oh, okay, I could make it faster off the bat, but whoop. Ah, perfect. And it went on the far way, but that's okay. And if I run over here now, we should watch it. Yes, it just did it. Perfect. It should come back and forth and constantly go until it's empty. Sweet. And if we look in here, yes, it is starting to evenly distribute the bone meal. Now, one thing I want to change. For efficiency's sake, it'd probably be better to have it launch when 2 of it's full or like 1 of it's full instead of like, you know, all of it. So I'm going to pull it out and we're going to let it fly. Now to build it again on the other side. The moment of truth, I'm going to place down these minecarts, and they are both going to get filled up with about a stack and 6 of bone meal, if I'm not mistaken. Stack and 4. I missed it. But now it's going to go deliver, which means if we watch, we technically haven't tested this one yet. This one still needs to be tested. This one comes back and perfect. Let me turn on these flower farms. I got to put these on switches in better spots. Run over to this one. Whoop. Turn this one on. And the factory's officially running. All right, I'm going to use free camera real quick to explain how this works. So at the very beginning of the process, we have the mob farm. The mob farm is creating all kinds of mobs, but especially skeletons. The skeletons drop bones, which then get pulled up here and crafted in bone meal in this auto crafter. That bone meal then gets split between these 2 chests, which then get distributed into minecarts and then run along and delivered into hoppers, which then feed into the dispensers, which then get dispensed into the flower farm, which then starts harvesting flowers, which then sends the flowers along, and they automatically get sorted. The flower factory is officially done. Let's go! And now, I can be AFK here, farming all the mob drops, including bones technically eventually, iron, bone meal, and all of the flowers from the flower forest. This is awesome. One night of AFKing later, and I have discovered something. First off, this farm was incredibly fast. When I say one night, I AFK'd for maybe a total of like 2 hours. 3 double chests of gunpowder already is crazy. At the same time, almost a shulker of every single flower is awesome except this guy. For some reason, the white tulip is the rarest flower in the patch. I guess when I built my farm, I built a very small section of white tulips, although all of this should be white tulips, so I don't know why it's not spawning more. But yeah, white tulips don't like spawning very often. And another problem, this farm is literally fast enough to fill this bone meal chest and back up into these hoppers. So what does that mean? That means I have to build a system now that reads this chest, and if this chest gets to a certain level of full, it turns off this clock and also locks this hopper. So let's see if we can put something together real fast. Let me just go grab some redstone. Alrighty, to start off with, we need to put a comparator here with another comparator here with a hopper here, and then fill it with shovels. Good. Then we're gonna place a block right here with a redstone dust on top, and another block that goes there with redstone on top, and then theoretically this should work if I just place redstone here and a repeater here, and that should lock the whole thing, and I can no longer open that chest. I should change those for slabs. So now if this chest fills up with bone meal, which I can simulate by grabbing some bones. This place is like a weird parkour maze jungle gym thing. Okay, up here. If I throw that in there, any moment now. Oh, we spat out some extra bone meal. But if you noticed, this is now locked, which means if I throw some bones up there, oh, hold on, bones up, bones are not going into this. This is locked. Now, I think I'm actually going to remove one of these wooden shovels. Like I said, terrible parkour jungle gym. Oh my God. Okay. So basically, like I explained earlier with the bone meal loading system, this is reading a percentage of fullness that the comparator is delivering. And if this chest is more full or equal to the percentage of fullness of this, it will now lock this hopper, meaning that bones will now skip over this and go into the bone sorter instead, which is what we want. But that should solve the main problem that I discovered with this design. So the flower factory is officially done. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This has been a very different episode, but I had a lot of fun. Drew a little inspiration from Beat Up Below there with this episode. Skibbity. And I hope you guys enjoyed the kind of more solo episode where we just work on the base. There's a few more episodes like this coming soon, but next episode, I'm hoping we build the shop that actually sells all of these beautiful flowers. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a good life. Hope I'll be of you cheer. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody!